Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another lesson of our IGCSE revision course. This time we're going to talk about surface area. Here on the screen you can see a couple of formulas which you should know. Actually, good thing about these formulas that you don't really have to memorize them that much, you just need to know how to use them, because as you will see in a minute, most of these formulas, they will be mentioned in IGCSE questions, like you'll be given these formulas already. So first one is cylinder, surface area of cylinder, and by surface area of course we mean all that covers it basically from all sides, right? Area of its surfaces, right? So here we see the formula for a curved surface area of a cylinder, which is not the whole surface area, right? Because if we draw a net of a cylinder, it will look something like this. Like this would be a piece of paper which we could fold and it would make a cylinder, right? So it has three parts in it, right? There's a base here, another base here, and in the center this is what we call this curved surface area, right? So this formula here, it only gives you the area of rectangle, this rectangle, right? So for a full formula we have to add two bases, right? So full formula will look like this. It will be curved surface area plus base times 2 basically, because they are the same, these two bases, the one on top and the one on the bottom. So the formula will be like this: 2 pi r h plus so area of a circle is pi r squared. We need two of them, so that's 2 pi r squared. This would be the formula. Not, like, it will really depend on the question. Sometimes you will need the full formula, sometimes you will not need the full formula. Okay, next one, very quickly, sphere, not much to describe here. The surface area is 4 pi r squared. And finally, cone, also the same problem. We are given only a curved surface area formula. So it means it's just this area, only this part, which is curved, right? If we would draw a net of cone again, it would look something somewhere like this, right? That would be net of a cone, something like that. Yeah, so anyway, we only find this formula only gives us area of this part. So to find the full surface area we would have to do this: pi r l plus pi r squared. Alright, because there's only one base in this case, only one on the bottom. Alright. One more interesting thing about cone, so L is the slant height, right? This is quite important because slant height is not a normal height, it's the height of this part, alright? So it's not this height, no, it's not at all. It's a different height, the height of a slant, basically. So this will be, you'll see it in the questions quite a lot, where you have to find the slant height first. Like for example in this question. So let's start with the questions. Here's the first past paper question. Here, as you can see, we have height already, which is a normal height, and we have a radius, right? And the question says basically that the total surface area is painted at the cost of $0.015 per centimeter squared. Calculate the cost of paint in the cone. So we have to first find the surface area, and then we have to find the cost. So the total cost will be, of course, it will be quite easy to find, right? It will be just 0.015 times total surface area. And so to find the surface area, of course, we need to add base area and area of this curved side. The only problem is we don't know what is L equal to. We have no idea what is it in this case. Well, we can find it, right? We can always find it. So again, the height, this height is 12 centimeters, as we know, and we are looking actually for this side. So here we get our right angle triangle, where we know two sides. We have to find the third one. Here we can use a Pythagoras theorem, right? So to find this side, which is hypotenuse, of course, this will be our hypotenuse, we have to use Pythagoras theorem, and it will be equal to a square root of 12 squared plus 5 squared. So that's the other two sides, right? So a squared, we could say that a squared equals to, no, in this case it will be c. So c squared equals to a squared plus b squared, right? So standard Pythagoras Theorem formula. So we will get that slant will be equal to 13 when we find it. And so it's equal to 13 centimeters. And now we can use the formula for surface area. So pi r L in this case plus, so it's a curved area, plus base area, which is pi r squared. Again, there's only one base in the cone. So let's find it. Actually, in these kinds of questions, I would advise you guys to just keep pi until the end. Don't type it in the calculator. Just keep it as pi. It's fine. So pi RL, it's going to be pi times radius times 5 times slant, which is 13, plus pi r squared. So pi times the radius is 5, so it's 5 squared. Right, that will be equal to 65 pi plus 25 pi. So that's 90, sorry, I was going to say 80, 90 pi altogether. This is the total surface area. So now we paint it at the cost of 0.015. So the total cost will be equal to 0.015 times 90 pi, like this. That will be what? That will be like 1.35, I think, yeah. Yeah, 1.35, but let's just check it just in case. So 1.35 pi. You can already write it as an answer, or if you want, you can write it as a precise number. If you multiply this by pi, you'll get a 4.24, so $4.24 in this case, ladies and gentlemen. So again, here you see we have to utilize a Pythagoras theorem. This was the part which you may find a little bit confusing, but otherwise it's a pretty easy task. Alright, next one. Here we have an interesting question, again from, this one I believe is from Edexcel, but it should be quite similar to IGCSE past papers. Okay, a sofa has 6 identical cushions. Each cushion is a cuboid, 18 centimeters by 80 centimeters by 95. The cushions are covered with a protective spray in cans, and a spray in each can covers 4 meters squared. Work out how many cans are needed to cover 6 cushions with protective spray. Quite an interesting question because, first of all, danger, as you can see we have different units. So here we use centimeters and here we use meters. Alright, so we will have to convert at some stage. Also, another interesting question is, another interesting part, is that we have to find how many cans, are needed to cover 6 cushions. So not one cushion, not one like this, but 6 of these basically. So whatever we get here times 6, right? So well, because we need to cover it all with protective spray, we have to work out the surface area, of course, of this thing. So for cuboid, as you notice, there is no formula because, well, all you gotta do is just look at its net basically, or you could try and figure it out like this. So we have a side here, which is a rectangle. So as you probably already guessed, a surface area of cuboid is a sum of areas of 6 rectangles. So there's they are all in pairs. So there's 2 pairs of these rectangles, right? Then there's another pair, which is here. These 2. Why are they pairs? Because they have the same area. Yeah. And then finally, the third pair will be the top and bottom. Again, same area for them. Yeah, something like this. So this is getting a bit confusing. I think I'll just leave it like that. So let's figure out what's the surface area of this particular cuboid. So it's going to be, so first of all, these 2, right? So we do 80 times 18 and then times 2, because there's 2 of them, right? Plus another 2 rectangles, So this is 95 times 18 in this case, and also times 2. And finally the top and bottom, so that's 80 and 95. This will be, if you're struggling with the concept, this will be a bit easier if you draw a net, but I think it's very time consuming. You could draw a net of this cuboid with accurate descriptions of each part, and then I think it would be a bit more clear. So if you have some free time, if you want to practice this concept, you could try to do that. This would be a kind of a homework thing. But I will try and do it more or less quickly. So now we're just gonna get our trusty calculator and figure this out. As you can see, not a very hard question, but you still gotta read it very carefully because there's a lot of small details to get lost in. So that's 21,500. Don't forget about the unit, so it's 21,500 centimeters squared. Again, this has to be converted, right? Because the spray in this can covers 4 meters squared, right? So we have to convert this into meters, right? So as we know, 1 meter, the normal meter unit of length, has 100 centimeters on it. If you forgot the conversion, which actually I did, you can always try and figure this out by doing this. So if 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, then 1 meter squared equals to 100 squared, which will be 10,000 centimeters squared. Here we go, I just worked it out. So we can see that 21,500 centimeters squared will be equal to 2.15 meters squared, all right? Then, of course, so this was our step 1. I'm going to jump around a bit. Step 2, we have 6 of these, so we have 6 cushions, right? 6 cushions for each 2.15 meters squared each surface area. So that's 6 times 2.15, which will be equal to what? 12.9. This will be 12.9. So we have to cover 12.9 meters squared. Spray in this can covers 4 meters squared. Yeah. So we can do 12.9 divided by 4. And we'll get 3 point something, right? 3.225. In this case, just remember that we are talking realistically here about cans, and you cannot go to the store and you cannot tell them, give me 3.2 cans, please. You either get 3 or you get 4, right? And 3 is not enough in this case, so the answer will be 4 cans. So we have to buy 4 cans, and we will have some leftovers after that. So yeah, also keep attention, because this is not the final answer, right? This will be the final answer. Okay, that's it for this one. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. Again, at any point of this video, you are encouraged to pause it and then try the questions by yourself if you want to kind of gain confidence. So just pause it, try it by yourself, and then you can resume the video and we can check it together. This will be a good idea. Okay, next one. So here we have a diagram. The diagram shows a cylinder. It has a height of 30 centimeters and a radius of 11 centimeters. Work out the total surface area of the cylinder. Give your answer correct to 2 significant figures. Again, remember, so surface area of cylinder consists of 3 parts. There's 2 bases, right? And 1 curved. So curved area plus base area times 2. Let's find it. So curved area, the formula is, again, you see this one doesn't have the formula, but normally I would say in like 95% of cases you would see the formula, probably even 100%. I think this one is from at Excel, but in IGCSE you normally will be given the formula for this. But again, for curved, just in case, memorizing is also always good. You can train your memory. For curved area is pi r. Oh, that was the other one. So pi r h is this one, yeah. This one is pi r h. Sorry, so the h is the height, right? And the base, of course, is pi r squared. So we have pi times radius times 11 times h times 30 plus base times 2. So it's pi times a radius squared, so 11 squared, and then times 2. 11 times 30, yes, so 330 pi plus, what is it, 121 times 2? 242. Now, quite a lot, quite a big area. 572 pi. This will already be okay to write in the answer, but if you want to be precise, you can go and type this in your calculator with pi, and you'll get something like this. Yeah. 17. This is very close to, like, I would just write 1797 because it's really close to that. Or yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's the answer. Okay, and finally, for the last one, I prepared for the dessert. I prepared like a pretty challenging IGCSE past paper question, again about surface area. So let's try and work this out. The diagram shows a solid made from a hemisphere and a cone. So you see there's two shapes in here. There's a this is the cone part, and this is the hemisphere, which is half sphere part. The base diameter and the diameter of hemisphere are each 5 millimeters, so we know the diameter. And the total surface area of this solid is 115 pi over 4. You see, so you're given it in these kind of units. Show that the slant height is 6.5 millimeters. Okay, these questions often prove to be tricky because students get confused about this part show that. So what basically happens here is you're already given the answer, which is slant height is L is 6.5, but the question is not asking you to work out the slant height actually. The question is asking you to show. So you have to. This is where you have to show your working. You have to try and find the slant height, even though you already know it. You have to try and find it properly, step by step, and this is where you must show your working. Otherwise, you're not going to get full points for this question. So let's do it. Yeah. So slant height, we have to figure it out from this data here. So we basically forget for now that it's 6.5, and we will only remember about this later when we have to check this. Okay, let's try and work this out. So how do we find it? Well, remember we have the formulas. In this case, the total surface area consists of two parts. Right? So first part is the curved area of cone, and the second part is half of surface area of sphere. Right, so to write it, you see you are given the formula here already. So we have the formulas. You see, so this is for curved surface area. This is for a sphere. All right, so here we go. So pi r L plus, remember they give you the full area of the sphere. You only need half of that. So basically 4 pi r squared over 2, right, which just becomes 2 pi r squared in the end. Okay, so the thing is, we know everything from here, right? Actually, we know the surface area already, but we don't know the slant height. We're supposed to find it. I mean, we know it, but like you have to show how to find it. So we can basically build an equation, right? So again, let me just show this one more time. So surface area equals pi r L plus 2 pi r squared. Again, I just cut this, yeah. So let's build an equation again. So 115 pi, we know that surface area is 115 pi over 4. So 115 pi over 4 equals to pi times radius. We know that the radius is, just be careful here, radius is half of that. So again, this is diameter. Radius will be half of it, right? So a radius will be 2.5, yeah? So pi times 2.5 times L plus 2 times pi times, again, 2.5 squared, right? So we are looking for L. We are looking for L. That's it. Okay, let's do it. So first of all, 2.5 squared, that's 6.25. So we will have, I think I'll just continue with this here. I'm gonna have 115 pi over 4 equals to 2.5 pi L plus 6.25, so 12.5 pi. Now let's multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of this thing. So we're gonna get 115 pi equals to what? So 10 pi, this becomes 10 pi L plus, here we're gonna have, what's gonna be 50. Now we can probably, yeah, let's do minus 50 pi first, but at some point you'll have to get rid of pi. So we have 65 pi equals 10 pi L, or actually we don't need to get rid of it, because now that we're here, what we can do is we can just divide both sides by pi, and this way we're gonna cut it out. Alright, and then we will have 65 equals 10L, and now if we divide both sides by 10, we get L equals 6.5. So that's how you show it. The reason I didn't get rid of pi is because every time we calculate pi, there's going to be a bit of a rounding error, as you know, because pi is this infinite number. So if you do get rid of pi, if you just write 3.14 instead of it, you might get L to be something a bit different. Like, it will be pretty close, but still a little bit different. It will be like maybe 6.448 or maybe 6.49, like it will be really close. So this might get you confused. So try to keep a pi like this. But again, if you don't keep it, I think it's fine too. Okay, and whoa, the screen was gone. Right, so next part of this question is calculate height of the cone. So we don't know the height, but it's going to be very easy to find. So again, if you remember that example that we've done before, we can have this small kind of a right angle triangle here. So this is the height, which we don't know. This here is the radius, which we know, which is 2.5. And L, as we just figured out, you see, so now you can check it, it's 6.5, right? Don't forget millimeters. You see, I forgot about this, by the way. 6.5 millimeters. And finally, L is 6.5 here. Now you can see it's quite easy to find the missing side. So remember, if you're looking for hypotenuse, you do sum of the squares. If you are looking for something which is not hypotenuse, we need a difference of the squares. All right, so we can say that height squared equals to 6.5 squared minus 2.5 squared. All right, so height will be square root from 6.5 squared minus 2.5 squared. And now we gotta pull out the calculator. Square root 2.5 squared equals to 6. So it's 6 millimeters. Yeah. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye bye.